Brian Windhorst has just revealed Mitchell Robinson's timeline, and this is excellent news, and we're going to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to waste no time jumping into it because Mitchell Robinson should be coming back before the end of the month, according to Brian Windhorst, as he recently stated on NBA whatever on ESPN. He said Mitchell Robinson should be back before the end of the month. They're only going to get better as long as they can get healthy, to which Kendrick Perkins just started talking and hyping up the Knicks, saying, when you think about the Knicks, prepare to be in a bar fight. That's the defense coached by Tibbs. It's suffocating. Windhorst said they're also really good at, once they get ahead, they put the game on ice well, to which Perkins says, you know why? Jalen Brunson. Because as we know, Jalen Brunson's a superstar, but Jalen Brunson cannot do it alone, and now one of the starters on the New York Knicks will finally be back, though it will be in a bench role, as Mitchell Robinson himself on Instagram did say that he wants to come back to a bench role because maybe he can get more touches and just kind of slowly integrate himself back onto the court from the surgery. I made a whole video on it. You can go check that one out. But look, the thing here is that Mitchell Robinson is going to be back in the next 10 days, and that is huge because it's March. We were told in early December, that Mitchell Robinson was out for the entire season. It was a ruthless blow to the team. It felt like the Knicks were going to be in massive trouble. We kind of worried if we'd even make it out of the first round. Obviously, since then, trades have happened. The team has gotten better, but then more injuries happened. We lost Julius Randall. We lost OG Anunoby. We got OG back. We lost OG again. Now OG's out day to day, but we don't really know what's going on outside of that his MRI is clean. Julius Randall is still a mystery, which is something that Brian Windhorst mentioned, and he said there's no real word on him. Though Ian Begley did give us an update, and I did a whole video on this if you want to check it out. But essentially what he had to say is that there was internal concern regarding the idea that Randall hadn't been cleared for contact, and as of the Kings game, he still wasn't cleared for full contact, and it's unclear if he had been cleared in the following days after that. Randall also had been able to do everything else on the court as he's trying to play through this shoulder dislocation. And that wording kind of makes me think that clearly there's something a little bit wrong there that he's going to need surgery on in the offseason. But then he also said that 3 people who he spoke to were familiar with the situation and expressed in confidence that Randall would return to the court this season, and that he's been sidelined since January 27th when he landed weirdly after Jaime Jaquez kind of awkwardly cut him off. And obviously, they need Julius more than Mitchell Robinson. Mitch is going to come back and be Isaiah Hartenstein's backup center. But still, this is a good thing for the Knicks to be getting Mitch back. He gives you rim protection. He gives you the best offensive rebounding in the NBA. Mitchell Robinson is a valuable member to this team. He's one of the main reasons why the Knicks were able to slap Cleveland around last year in the playoffs, because he just absolutely dominated and showed why he's much better than Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, and that they could not at all hang with him. He was literally winning 2-on-1 rebound battles and made it look easy. That is the type of player who you want in the playoffs. Mitch is not afraid of contact. He wants to bully you in the playoffs. So luckily, they will have Mitch able to do that for around 22 minutes off the bench. And then mix that with 26 minutes of Isaiah Hartenstein. That is 48 minutes. All game, you are getting 2 starting level centers who are both above average in this NBA. That is massive for the team, because usually no team has 2 really good centers. Mitch is going to embarrass second units constantly in the playoffs. And now it seems like he'll be back, and he'll be able to really get back in shape, get back in his rhythm, because he's going to have nearly a month to kind of figure everything out, as he will be back in March. I mean, again, to see this at the end of March, that he'll be back this month, is wild. Usually when you hear someone like, oh, he'll be back before the end of the month, it's usually like the first week of that month. It's not the end of the month, but it sounds like Mitch is going to be back. And at most 10 days, maybe less. That's huge. We know he was traveling with the team, as Mitchell Robinson did show on his Snapchat. And you got to add that photo in of Mitch because, well, first of all, he took that photo. And second of all, just it encapsulates Mitch very well with the Bass Pro Shops hat and shirt because he's a giant hick. And he's also just everyone's favorite goofball. So, luckily, that man will be back on the court and will be cooking every team's backup center that they have. I mean, he cooks starting centers. So, backup centers, it's going to be really fun to watch Mitch just as a backup, just absolutely embarrassing guys who are trying to, like, basically be NBA backup centers. Like, there's no backup center in the NBA who's even remotely as good at anything that Mitchell Robinson is, outside of, like, those stretch fives who, oh, they could shoot better than Mitch. Well, they're never going to get a rebound against the Knicks. That's not going to happen. The Knicks are a great rebounding team. They're going to continue to be able to do that even more with Mitchell Robinson back. That gives them a lot more defense. Mitch, on the season, averaged 1.5 steals and 1.3 blocks per game. And one of the reasons he only averages 1.3 blocks per game instead of more is that no one challenges Mitch at the rim. It's the same reason why Rudy Gobert doesn't average 4 to 5 blocks per game. Because people are not challenging Rudy Gobert at the rim. They know they're going to lose. It's the same thing as Mitch. No player is going to confidently, maybe an elite center would, but most players are not going to see Mitch below the hoop and think, oh yeah, I can beat him. They're going to think, it sounds like a bad business decision on my part. I might get annihilated from him. So people don't go for him. But now he's able to do so much more defensively than just block shots. He's so good at stealing the ball. He has good on-ball defense now. Mitchell Robinson is really coming into his own as one of the best defenders in the NBA. And the Knicks will have that back for the playoffs. And obviously with Isaiah Hartenstein still starting, not too many things will be off kilter and kind of out of rhythm. And then Precious Achiuwa also gets to play power forward, which is going to be nice to see. And I think with this happening, I've talked about this before, what the Knicks' potential playoff lineup could be. We're going to assume that Randall and OG are playing because OG almost certainly will be in the playoffs. And Randall, we do assume he's going to be back. We're going to see a starting five of Brunson, DiVincenzo, OG, Randall, and Isaiah Hartenstein. And then off the bench, we're going to see Deuce McBride, probably not as the sixth man. The sixth man will almost certainly be Josh Hart. So Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, who's been notoriously better as a power forward, and then Mitchell Robinson. That is a nasty, nasty team. And I know the one thought is, oh, that's not a lot of shooting. Deuce McBride's a 40% shooter from three this season. So yes, it is. And Josh Hart's shooting is getting there. And outside of that, the Knicks will know how to stagnate the roster to have one of Brunson or DiVincenzo or OG out there to have a good shooter on the court. If it's Brunson or Devo, it's an elite shooter out on the court. There's a reason why DiVincenzo has, I think, the third most threes made this season. Devo's up there with the best of them with shooting. It's kind of a shame he wasn't in the three-point contest, but it is what it is. We know how he is, and the Knicks will integrate the lineups all right, so it'll be fine. Now, if you take a look here, Mitchell Robinson putting up pretty standard stats. It's nothing that jumps out at you that's insane outside of the fact that he shoots under 37% from the free throw line. But I think that's more of a method of he doesn't really care because he never gets to touch the ball anyway. So I think he's kind of demoralized because he's not that bad of a free throw shooter. So I think he's demoralized from not touching the ball. With when getting on the bench, he'll absolutely get a chance to touch the ball. He might get a few more post-ups being on the bench. He'll definitely get some lobs coming from Deuce McBride, which will be nice. Hopefully the Knicks use him for lobs more often. And then also 10 rebounds a game. And I believe 5.8 of those 10.3 are offensive rebounds. So, I mean, the man, best offensive rebounder in the NBA. He's an absolute monster. I cannot wait to watch him come back. And it also means Precious Achiuwa gets to move back to power forward. These last 4 games, he's been playing center, and his numbers have gone down at only 7.3 points and 7.3 rebounds and 6.3 points. As when he was the Knicks' starting power forward, he was averaging around 10 and 10. So his numbers have gone down. Precious sees himself as a power forward. I think it gets in his head when he plays center. So hopefully we'll be able to see that power forward version of Precious Achiuwa. He's got a little nice mid-range game, man. He can hit some mid-ranges, create some spacing for Mitch to get one-on-ones at the rim, and he can just go right over you. I'm really looking forward to seeing bench player Mitch. Comment down below what you guys want to see from Mitchell Robinson when he comes back. Should he start? Should he come off the bench? What should they do? Should he get his post-ups? You guys all know he should get his lobs. But that's it for me, guys. Like this video, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day and go Knicks.